More questions for Coach Flanery?
What was that like to go through? I mean, because it is a unique situation.
Yeah.
Because there's not like a total feeling of finality, but
Sure.
also to have them just kind of be center stage and to have kind of all the accolades listed off the way they were and put into perspective for everybody that was in the crowd. What was that moment like?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I never write out a speech. I mean, if I do, I always crumble it and don't use it at the end, but I wanted to make sure that I kind of was aware of all the people who've helped them in their journey, because I know they would want those people thanked, and then also just to kind of shape who they are on the court and off the court, because that's, such a, I think that I don't know if nice guys finish first, but I think people who do it right have a tendency to see more success on the athletic fields or court, and I feel like these guys they're not perfect, and their coach isn't perfect, but they do such a good job of seeing the big picture and taking in all the things that are required of student athletes these days and being humble about it. And I think that's why they're elite on the court, is that they share so many values off the court in terms of how they treat people and the responsibility they feel as young female role models, whether they're going out in the community with younger people or just making the people who come to watch them play smile because of the way that they play. So yeah, it's pretty neat, and I think it's funny because when we assembled this class, we kind of didn't want it to be that big. In fact, we had grouped them and said, hey, we want, we've got 4 scholarships out, we only want 3 of you, but we kept saying yes. And it's funny how it worked out. And then, we added Lauren on top of that, so it became an even bigger class. Yeah, it's funny how it worked out. And they've all, Emma and Lauren and Morgan get a lot of credit, and they deserve it, but it really is all of them, because those other ones kind of are glue pieces too, and really able to talk them up when they need to be talked up, or talk them down when they need to be talked down off of some sort of anxiety or whatever. So
you said it was going to be the best March yet. Is the locker room feeling different this year?
Yeah, I hope that the way last year ended is motivation, but not not fear. I mean, you always worry a little bit that the pressure of March is different. It's a different month, right? I mean, nobody's going to deny that. But I do feel like we certainly have the experience and the balance. I mean, I think when you look at what Molly and Mal have done offensively the last few games, and then Jamie, I feel like we're maybe we're a little bit more balanced, and then I think just the level of leadership that we have hopefully can calm us in the pressure moments of March.
But what do you think? I understand the circumstances of Xavier's probably not in a good place program right now, but what do you think allowed you guys to bust it open right there in the third? Because they had kind of hung around for a little bit.
Yeah, they did, for sure. Even early in the third, I felt like it was they had it down to 11 maybe, or 10 even, and Emma made a couple plays, and we got. I do think that we wore them. I do think we wore them down a little. I thought they got tired, and what Morgan said about, I thought we stayed in front of the ball a little bit better, and we just defensively, I thought we were just up just a little bit more, and we got a couple baskets that kind of, I thought, just emotionally wore on them, because it's not. When you've had the year that they've had, I think, and you see that lead go from 12 to 20, then it becomes a mental game. I think we were obviously in a better place, and I think for them it's probably we've seen this before, so I think that was a big piece of it. But I thought defensively we were better, but I do think they got a little tired, and we were a little bit better against their press. Like I felt like we didn't convert against their press as much as we should have in the first half. We'd get it across and not keep it moving. So I felt like we were a little bit tighter with that.
There was a moment in the second half where Britt had 3 straight
Yeah.
buckets. How good was that to see out of her?
Yeah, I'm happy for her because she's when you don't get to play a lot, you come in and you play 3 minutes. Sometimes if you're 0 for 1 or if you have a turnover, and it just plays on you the next time you get in. So I think for her to see that is good because again we're hopefully we got to play one more regular season game, but when you get into a tournament and you're playing, in the conference tournament you might play 3 games in 3 days, and NCAA tournament you're going to play 1 day in between play, and so I think your bench becomes even more important, and just to have her see the ball go through will help her the next time she's on the floor.
Scarlett had a career high 26 points against you the first time. Today, 8 points on 10 shots, I think.
Yeah.
What were the keys to that? Just the disparity in the performances there, and then how? I know in a 42-point win, not much one thing is critical, but
Right.
how critical do you feel that was to making the game what it was prior to you
Sure.
blowing it open? Like it could have been a different feel if she had.
Yeah, I think it was pretty big because, she's the one player on their team that can go get 20. And we lost her a couple times early. I didn't think we were super disciplined early, but then I thought we kind of settled in and were, Mal and Molly did a good job, and then our switches were better. We talked about just being better on being more aggressive on our switches in the second half, and I thought we were, instead of letting her play at the point of the screen, I thought we jumped it harder, and I thought that was big. And then we did a better job on Blackford in the second half because she's somebody who can, last year I think she was their second leading scorer, and she had a big game against us here last year. So not having played against her the first game, that was a different look. So the fact that neither one of them really got going was big.
You kind of talked about it extensively out there, obviously, but
Yeah.
What does it mean to see them check out for one last time in this possibly one last time in this
Yeah.
arena and walk off the floor and come in here and go in the locker room with them? What is all that like?
Yeah, you hope that they can kind of, what's the word I'd say, bask in it. I don't know. You feel good for them because it's. You guys, Matt comes to practice, but you guys see him however many times a year, and there's so many things that go into them being as good as they are at this, and so it's just nice to feel like that they're valued and recognized, and there's a special bond when you have 4-year players too. I think that and LJ's only a 3-year at this point, but I just think there's a more of an appreciation for the people who've supported you for that long, and vice versa. Their appreciation for that 4-year player is because they've been watching them, and then they've seen them grow, and they've seen them struggle, and they've seen them perform well, and so I think it's I don't love having our senior night on a Tuesday because I do think that affects even the parents. For some of our Minnesota parents to get here was difficult. So, but I think it's got to be pretty special for them.
How unique is their competitiveness through the duration they've been with each other, in the sense that there's moments on the court where they're just staring deathly at each other and
Yeah.
giving each other very pointed criticisms like do this better, do that better, and yet it doesn't ever feel. It's never felt catty with them. They've always just kind of like taken it, got together, linked up, moved on, and
Yeah.
gotten better from it. How unique do you feel like is that part of it?
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of, when you asked, Morgan about Emma earlier, that's to me one of the things that I marvel at is they have to guard each other so much in practice for 4 years, and they're both really good players, but, and there's an occasional, you can tell they're a little bit feistier on certain days because one of them has done something to kind of, irritate the other, and that's the nature, that's the nature of a physical sport, 4 years of practice. And so it is amazing to me that that they can get past that and then be, like you said, just cohesive when they get on the floor, or even within the game. Sometimes they can be, they're all competitive. I mean, we laugh in practice at how competitive they are, and how they can kind of get bitter with each other, but as soon as practice is over or we move on to the next drill, they're usually, they're all about getting better, and the team too. So and that's one of the unique things about sport is like you're competing like heck every day against somebody, and if they play more than you on game day, you have to be good about that and unselfish about that. I think it's a great lesson. But it's not easy to cheer for somebody who you're trying to kick their butt in practice every day. But I think these guys they get the picture, and I think the more success we've had, the easier that gets too, as far as that pushing each other and getting chippy once in a while with each other is okay. I mean, we like to see it in practice, but they'll carry it over to games too.
Had 7 assists tonight. You talked a lot about how Morgan's developed as a playmaker on Saturday. How important is it for this team to have 4 legit ball handlers that you trust in the starting lineup?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what Emma can do in the backcourt is, I mean, we usually start our press break with, okay, where is it best to put Emma? Is it best to have her be a receiver, primary ball handler, or wherever? And there aren't that many times where you take a non-guard. I mean, I don't consider her a guard, but and that's how you build your press break or press attack is through her, because of how good a ball handler and decision maker, and the size to be a receiver. That's part of it too. Like, Lauren and Molly aren't as good at receivers against presses because they're not as big a target and they don't have Emma's wingspan. But it's nice. I mean, the fact that we can play Lauren on the ball, Molly on the ball, and like you said, Morgan's gotten better, and even Mal's gotten better in terms of being able to handle the ball without scaring me to death.
Any further questions for Coach Flanery?
Thanks, you guys.
Before you guys go, every player scored, every player grabbed a rebound, every player had an assist tonight.
We ran a play for Jamie coming out of that timeout. We had a play set up, but then she got the steal and the layup, and we didn't have to run it. And yet we ran it anyway, and then she hit the 3. So, but yeah.
I don't know how many pick sixes she's had in
I
there.
know.